Okay, we've got another dice game here, or it's a coin flip game. So, you bet $1, flip a coin 10 times. If you have 4 heads in a row, you win. If you don't get 4 in a row, then you lose. Let's run it 10,000 times and figure out what's the probability that we'll win. So this one has some tricks. There's multiple ways you could solve these kind of problems. But as usual, we make a good table and use the shortcuts to make it easy for us. So we flip 10 times. We have 10 coin flips. Tempting to use things like H and T for heads and tails, but we want to stay with 1 or 0. So random between, we're going to use 0 and 1. 1 being a head. We're trying to get heads, so 1 is the win condition, right? So again, we're going to highlight here and then drag over here. This will copy and paste. And then if you look at, verify that it didn't change the values. So that looks good. So there's, like I said, there's multiple ways to do this. The way I'm going to do it is I'm going to look at, to get 4 heads in a row, because that's a condition, 4 heads in a row. That means that those 4 numbers would have to add up to 4. So this I'm going to call win condition 1. Same thing, if flips 2 through 5 are all 1s, then this would be 4. So I'm just labeling this to help me to keep track. And I can use Excel again to help me do this quickly. Whoa, see, it's a good example of why you can't just blindly trust that. So it saw a pattern and it tried to change it, probably because I made a typo. So if I just do this, then it's sure to understand what I'm trying to do. Okay, so 7 win conditions. 1 through 4, add up to 4, that's a win. 2 through 5, 3 through 7, and so on. So let's go ahead and do those. So win condition 1, we'll say, if, so I've got to start with equals, if, and then sum of these 4 equal 4. Can't be anything besides that. It's never going to be greater than 4, right? Then it's a win, otherwise it's a loss. So 1 represents a win in this formula and 0 represents a loss. So this is a loss, right? So verify this. Flip 1, 2, 3, 4. There was 2 heads, so that's a loss. So this is the beauty of Excel here. This would be a pain to do by hand, right? So we know there's 7, and that's why I labeled these. So I know there's 7 win conditions. And look at what this will do. Check the range here, 8, B to E. So we have B to E. The next one automatically knew what I'm trying to do, C to F, 2 through 5. D to G. Yeah, you have to verify it, but usually it'll know what you're trying to do. But you have to verify it. I'm just trying to give myself some real estate here. And then we want to know if we won overall. So how do we do this condition? Well, if any one of these is a 1, then we won. It doesn't matter if we flipped all heads, we are not going to win more than $1. Because presumably you stop flipping as soon as you win. So the condition is if we can just add up all these numbers. If the sum is greater than or equal to 1, then it's a win, which is a 1, and a loss is a 0. So in this one, there's no win conditions met. So let's just do this down like a few times. So let's verify that we haven't won and missed it. So I'm looking through here and I see there's your win. And did we miss any wins? No. Right? So let's keep going down. Let's make sure we're good. So do you see any wins? I don't see any wins. I see a win here. There's a win. There's a win there. So it looks pretty good. So let's take this. The problem specifies we have to do it 10,000 times. I'm sure there's a shortcut to doing this, but I don't know what it is. It doesn't really take that long. So 10,000. Whoops. So we missed it by 1. So there's the trial number, right? It's not the row number, it's the trial numbers. It's 10,000 times playing the game. And then might have to think about this a little bit. I had to make sure that I was figuring this out right, but we want to know what the win percentage is. And it's going to be the average. It just worked out for us that zeros and ones, zero's a loss, one's a win. You can kind of ask yourself, what if you won one game and lost the second game? It'd be 1 is 0, which is 1, divided by 2 is 0.5, so your odds of winning were 50%. 1 out of, see these first three? 1 out of 3 is 33.3%. If you just take the average of these. And so, kind of think through that, but that's what I'm going to use, because it seems like the shortest way to do that. The average. Get about 0.25. We want to format this into a percentage. Maybe give ourselves 1 decimal place. Make it pretty. So interesting, if you double click and then regenerate all the random numbers, this is some variability here. We're doing this 10,000 times, and every time we do it, we can be off by like 1%. So this is a lot of variability. But there it is.